Hey guys, real quick, only 40% of our viewers are actually subscribed, so let's change that right now. Hit that subscribe button right below. The Panthers do it again, Sam. Surprising everyone. 31-28 over the Rams. Panthers move to 7-6. Rams fall to 9-3. You were joking. Panthers looking awful on Monday Night Football. You just made a little joke. They'll probably beat the Rams this week. The Rams, everybody's number one team. Everybody's number one power-ranked team. No one's looking better than the Rams. Both sides of the ball. Great defense. Great offense. MVP Matthew Stafford. And the Panthers pull the upset.
I'm so mad. I'm so annoyed that I knew this was going to happen and still picked against.
Clarify, you're only mad about your pick, not about the Panthers. You're not anti-Panthers.
No, I'm mad about the Panthers.
I'm
mad that they make no sense and that this is ridiculous. A guy called Dan G, messaged me on Blue Sky and said, one measure of genius is recognizing a brilliant idea's truth even when you don't understand how or why it could possibly be true. And I think that's, there's an element of that. Only I think there's an extra element, which is you've got to avoid the inner idiot in your brain shouting you down. And that's what happened here. I recognized the obvious truth, which is, of course, Carolina were going to end up winning against the Rams, having just been awful the week before, and the Rams, everybody's universal best team in the NFL. Of course, Bryce Young was going to go out there and ball out, and the Panthers are going to find a way of winning that. It doesn't matter that I don't know why or how. That's irrelevant. The point is, it was obviously going to happen. I just needed to avoid my inner moron shouting me down and still picking the Rams.
We had talked about the games where the Panthers lose and it's early turnovers that do them in, and they flipped that script in this game.
That's the thing. It didn't even work along the lines of the other games. If you were trying to find any pattern from Carolina's games this season, which itself is like a futile exercise, the one thing you would identify is if and when they struggle, they dig themselves an early hole and they can't crawl out of it. Well, this game, they dug themselves an early hole and then they crawled out of it.
I think this game, ready for me to simplify it for you?
5
plays.
5 plays.
5 plays.
Okay.
Because, look, in between these 5 plays, the Rams played great football. The usual their offense was tough to stop. They defense overall was pretty good. The 5 plays, Stafford comes into the game with 2 interceptions. Then he throws one in the end zone, and then it's like, all right, you always play in this underdog versus the heavy favorite. How are they going to pull this off? Okay,
which was batted, right?
One red zone interception.
He throws it off Derek Brown's face and it ends up deflecting into a guy's hands for an interception. He'd gone 28 straight touchdowns between interceptions, which was a new NFL record. Brady at some point had 27. And as you said, 2 interceptions coming into the game, and then that was the first of 2 in this game.
So that's in the red zone. Panthers come back, the little swing screen to Chuba Hubbard. It's 7-7. So the 5 plays: interception in the red zone, then a pick 6.
Yep. Bad
read from Stafford. Michael Jackson pick 6, put the Panthers up 14-7. Then you have 2 of the Panthers' touchdowns came on 4th down. Is that right?
Yeah.
4th and 3.
And they were both like 40 yards.
This is like, all right, the Panthers are down 4. It's in, third quarter. It's 4th and 3. The Rams are the better team, right? They're going to make this stop. No, the Panthers come back. Beautiful throw, Bryce Young to Jalen Coker on 4th and 3 for a 33-yard touchdown. Rams remain unstoppable. Puka Nacua makes their great one-handed catch, blah, blah, blah. That isn't even one of the 5 plays.
Right.
So it's the 2 interceptions, 4th and 3 touchdown, and then a 4th and 2 touchdown. Bryce Young to Tetairoa McMillan behind the defense, behind Emmanuel Forbes, who'd been balling, 43-yarder. That put the Panthers up 31-28, but it's not over yet. This is the Rams. Their offense is great. They drive down. They're in field goal range in play number 5 that changed this entire game. The Rams in field goal range on 3rd and 10. It was 3rd and 5. They false started. But on 3rd and 10, Matthew Stafford strip sacked by Derek Brown, and the Rams didn't see the ball again. That was one of those plays where, if he just gets sacked, they're kicking a field goal. It's a tie game. Obviously, the Rams still have a chance to win. Panthers would have a chance to go for the game winner, but they sealed it. And then, they go for it on 3rd down. Bryce Young converts it to end the game. Rams never have enough timeouts in the second half either. That affected their comeback attempt. But those 5 plays, 2 Stafford interceptions, 2 4th down touchdowns by the Panthers, a 3rd down strip sack by Derek Brown, A lot of other cool stuff happened in between, but 5 massive high-leverage plays that the Panthers won. They won those plays, and that's what won them the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's true. In most baseline ways, the Rams were a better football team, but they turned the ball over 3 times. The Panthers also had those couple of massive high-leverage 4th down conversions, and that's it. Like, the Rams were the less penalized side. They moved the ball easier. They had a much more significant average yards per play. They were the better team in a lot of areas, but all of the high leverage plays went Carolina's way.
I should have seen earlier. Did Bryce Young have that look in his eye? I don't know. Maybe after the first 4th down he did. After the first 4th down to Coker, I thought he did. He had the look in his eye. But, man, he made some huge plays. That was the only catch for Teterow and McMillan, the 43-yarder. They shortened the game a little bit too. Like, I know the Rams scored. They only punted once, and and they had the 3 turnovers. Like, that's what they did. But they moved the ball in between. The Panthers did shorten the game a little bit. They ran
the ball like 35 times between their 2 running backs. Like, that was the game plan. Bryce Young. Normally, when they have a game like this, Bryce Young has a random game where he pops off for 300, 400 yards. This was a more conventional Bryce Young stat line, barely snuck over 200, but they ran the ball an absolute ton with those guys, Hubbard and Dowdle.
But the second time in a few weeks now, he's gone over 10 yards per attempt. Every time Bryce Young goes over 10 yards per attempt, they're going to win. If he doubles his yards per attempt total on the season, the Panthers will be fine. No, I really thought that their ball control style, some of those just, 3 yards to go and they pick up 3, just held on as far as controlling the clock enough to shorten the game and give them the opportunities to force those turnovers. So, look, I think from both perspectives, Panthers remain extremely confusing. And at one point,
utterly unhinged,
because they're heading to their bye. And they've got the Saints coming out of the bye, who they lost to 17-7, which is part of the confusion, right? The Panthers have beaten the Packers. They've beaten the Rams. They've beaten some of the best teams in the NFC. They also looked completely helpless against the 49ers despite forcing 3 turnovers. They looked helpless against the Saints in the middle of this. They lost to the Bills by 1 million. So who knows what you're going to get from Carolina. But they do have this golden opportunity with a bye and only 4 games left, 1 against the Saints, 2 against the Bucs. They'll probably beat the Seahawks in the middle of there too. But most of their season is going to come down to beating the Bucs. I would spend their entire bye studying the Bucs, who they have to play in weeks 16 and 18.
Ben Solak had a tweet that basically explains Carolina. He said, "Explain the Panthers' last 7 games to me like I'm 5. They snuck past the Jets on the road, 13-6. They get absolutely eviscerated by the Bills at home, 40-9. They beat the Packers on the road, 16-13. They lose to the Saints at home, 17-7. They then beat up on the Falcons again, 30-27, again on the road.
With a massive comeback.
Right. Then lose to the defenseless 49ers, 20-9 on the road, and then beat the Rams, everybody's best team in the NFL, 31-28 in like a shootout. No logic. It makes no sense. And none of it makes any sense.
I mean, early in the season, it was home road splits, and then all that flipped, too.
And the coin toss, there is no pattern to the Carolina season this year. None. There was, and every pattern has been broken. Now there is no pattern. It's just random.
Huge win for them heading into their bye. And Bryce Young made some huge throws when they needed it. From a Rams perspective, I think it's like weird game, weird team that you played. No panic. It affects the number. It affects the seeding. I mean, It's a huge game when it comes to the standings. They're at 9-3, tied with the Bears at 9-3, tied with the Seahawks at 9-3. They're going to play mid-December on a Thursday night rematch. So it affects the seeding for the NFC. But I still think Stafford's, outside of a couple throws, playing great.
Yeah, I mean, if they have any sense.
Yeah, they're fine. Stafford should still probably be the MVP favorite despite this. Like, it doesn't have to be a horse race thing just because he threw 2 picks in this game. Like, they're still fine. Stafford's still playing the best football of any quarterback in the NFL, in my opinion. So, just a weird game, and always Sean McVay do a better job with your second half timeouts.
Their analysis of this game should be the same as everybody else's, which is evidently the Panthers are dealing with some kind of witchcraft, and it doesn't mean anything. Let's throw it out. It's irrelevant. Don't even look at the tape. It's pointless. It was a freak. It makes no sense for anybody. Let's move on.
I made this point last night, though, on the instant reaction. In a league, right now the league feels wild and crazy. This is, I think, a huge chunk of it. You could point to all these little things like there's fewer offensive and defensive plays because of the kickoff returns. The kickoff returns are having a huge impact. Look at the Jets game. I would add just fourth down variance overall. Even the best teams, it's really hard to be the best team on fourth down. And so when underdogs simply win the fourth down matchup, like when they win these one-off high leverage plays, you get upsets, you get weird results. Sometimes it actually goes the other way where a game becomes a blowout that shouldn't have been. And so in this world where like the league is more condensed, it feels like, talent-wise, you have games like this where it's just fourth down leverage. Like if the Panthers don't make if one of those fourth downs doesn't even go forget a first down, a touchdown, this game changes dramatically.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a big part of teams that feel average being 9-3, teams that feel great being 6-6, or a 6-6 Chiefs team. Like you just have high leverage plays going either way, and that's the NFL right now, which is exciting. But that's what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video.
Check the Mic is live Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss a video.
You heard the man. Subscribe.